Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna try to make this only an hour. I know my things go on for a long time. Sometimes it's short, but hey, I just got a shout out tonight. Here we go. You can watch it.
Oh, 1 second, 1 second. You know what? Ebon Kim just said do activism at the Space Needle. You know what?
Oh man, that's what's up right there.
That might be a good spot.
That is a very good
That might,
spot.
if it's possible, if I can go there and not get kicked out, not have a police called on me, that might be a good spot to do some activism, man.
Man, do you know how much of a statement that'll make right there at that spot? That's a big
flat
statement.
Earth activism at the Space Needle.
Oh
Man,
that's hot.
yeah. Oh, hey, that's a good idea. I like that. Shout out to Ebon Kim. I appreciate that. I just looked over there. See, this is why I watch the chat. You know, that's a good idea. I need to write that down. But yeah, man, because dude, there's people at the Space Needle all the time,
Right.
all the time.
I visited it when I went out there.
Okay, man, yeah, Space Needle. I like it. I don't know about on top of the Space Needle, but you know, down in that area, the Experience Music Project, the Space Needle around that area, it's a lot of foot traffic. So I like that.
Pretty cool. Oh, I gotta fix the restream. Give me a second over here. Let's show restream. Good. All right. So, Bob, what's after flat Earth? Living in a simulation? No, not really. What's after flat Earth? It's decoupling ourselves from government and the restrictions they put on our freedom. Because you know what? They won't let us explore to find out that, hey, they've been lying all this time. Antarctica, no. The North Pole, Arctic, no. So there's that. That's why they're doing as much as they can to prevent us from finding out. I mean, it's pretty ridiculed already being a flat earther, but we'll see. They're doing a lot this year. I'm trying to find that video. If anyone knows where it's at. It's the video where some news person or someone who's on a talk show, they go, doesn't believe in the moon landing. What's next? Flat Earth? I've seen that video somewhere, but I can't for the life of me find it. I've been trying to look for it for the last half hour. Now, what I want to show you, and why does it always go for that gray background? Maybe I'll just delete that because I think it's fixed to a hotkey. All right. I was looking at what's next, flat Earth, because I know someone said it. The only time I found something, also, you know, Steph Curry thinks moon landing was fake. What's next, flat Earth? But I couldn't get the results. And look at that, only 202 results on Google. Anyways, I did a Steph Curry what's next, flat Earth. I couldn't find anything except there's https stephcurryscenes.com, but that site is down. It says snap judgment, Steph Curry and the moon. You know, you just want to go to here. It's unavailable. So that sucks. I want to look more into that. I want to see these Steph Curry scenes. They're all gone. They took that whole site down. And that's great. I love this ammo. I love that the mainstream are doing whatever they can to attack flat Earth. It just, I mean, just going into 2019, right? Steph Curry, you know, all this hubbub about, hey, what's going on? Steph Curry thinks moon landing is fake, right? And I mean, he gets an earful. Just Max Kellerman, oh man, that guy, he is in deep. He is in deep. But you know, he makes millions. I mean, let's Google Max Kellerman salary. I'll bet you it's in the millions. Ooh, 5 million. Yeah. You know, I think someone who's making $5 million on air within ESPN Yeah, he's gonna be siding with the globe Earth and saying, hey, if you're listening to anything with the flat Earth, you're gonna be going crazy. And he just, oh man. So I'll probably have a restriction going on, but you can watch it. It's called Steph Curry's moon landing take is irresponsible. Max Kellerman. I'd love to show it right now, but watch it on your own. And so what's next? Flat Earth, one of the science blogs. It's funny because it talks about all the stuff about, you know, all the conspiracy theories and all this quackery. But the best part, and I had to put it in the title. It's like this comment by Marcos, not verified. This is 2013, September 13th. What's next? Flat Earth? Yep. It's true. Even the mainstream media, the government, and whoever, they know what's next. Once the moon landing is found out to be a hoax, it's flat Earth. You want to know why? Here we go. Because if you take out all the proofs, that's verified today, it's like, I think Mark Sargent does it well too. It's like, all right, how can you find out that the Earth isn't flat? Well, NASA, we landed on the moon. We've got pictures. We've got telescopes, all this stuff, all right? But here's the thing. And we're going to, we went through this yesterday with Michelle Thaler. Who is Michelle Thaler? Well, it says here on Big Think, Dr. Michelle Thaler is an astronomer who studies binary stars and the life cycles of stars. She's Assistant Director of Science Communication at NASA. She went to college at Harvard University, completed a postdoctoral research fellowship at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, California, then started working for the Jet Propulsion Laboratories Spitzer Space Telescope. After a hugely successful mission, she moved on to NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, GSFC, in the Washington, D.C. area. In her off hours, often puts on about 30 pounds of Elizabethan garb and performs intricate Renaissance dances. For more information, visit NASA. I think she's going to be pretty much on the side of Globe Earth and NASA, right? She's fully entrenched. Now, here's the thing. You look on Google, you look anywhere else, they'll say, we knew the Earth was round. Or, the ancient Greeks figured out we were living on a sphere over 2,000 years ago, and there are things you can do to prove that the Earth is indeed round. Just go to a body of water, look at ships or boats on the horizon with binoculars, even though they didn't have binoculars 2,000 years ago. At least I don't think. Even if you did, you're not going to see ships or boats on the horizon going over. All you have to do is look at my video. You're already looking at my video, so it's not much further. All right, go to my videos, and you go to where did it go? Oh yeah, well, you could do this on topic. Ebon Kim is a flat earther because of Stephen Hawking and three little birds. And then the other one is PBS is Genius by Stephen Hawking. Show fakes. Debunking flat earth. Why fake it? And you can easily see why. You don't have to believe me. Just watch it. I don't want you to believe. I don't believe. Now, taking NASA out of the equation, and well, this is their number one reason as far as knowing that the Earth is a globe, because the Earth curves and they give a measurement. It's 8 inches per mile squared. So that's the number one reason. Unfortunately, that reason has been shown to have been faked, at least the results. And you can now have equipment better than binoculars. The Nikon P, was it 900? Now they got the Nikon P1000 or something like that, which is incredible zoom. So what's next? What do they got? Well, one of the other ones is, of course, the constellations, because the further you move away from the constellations, not the same constellations appear. So by looking up, you can know what you're on. For some reason, by looking up in the sky, you can tell that you're on a round object compared to a flat object. The other thing that they've got is, well, look at the moon. When you look at the moon, what you see during these eclipses and all this other stuff is you see curved shadows on the moon. Well, here's the thing with curved shadows on the moon, and I did something pretty simple. I just took some photos. Now, let me guess. Actually, you guys guess. That shadow that's cast. So what I did was I printed out a picture of the moon. Here's the picture of the moon. Just so you know I ain't lying. See, that's the picture of the moon. Okay. Now that picture of the moon, is that a round object or is it a flat object that's making that curved shadow on the picture of that moon? Let me know. What do you think? How about this one? Is that a round object or is that a flat object? I mean, you could tell because in front, I'm showing you that I've got a round object. You can't really quite tell. Is that a flat object or is that a round object? This one, you know it's a round object, but by the shadow, you can't tell. Now, what about this one? Is that a round object or a flat object? Am I tricking you or am I not? Let me know. Is it round? Is it flat? Because what they're saying is because we see that curved shadow, and that would be the Earth casting a shadow on the moon, because that shadow is curved, therefore we live on a ball. That's what they're saying. Well, is that always the case? I mean, it can be this, or it can be this. Flat, right? Round, flat. This is round, not flat. But when you look at the shadow, just look at the shadow cast onto the moon picture, right? Is that a flat object or is that a globe object? Is that a ball? You don't know. I know, I took the pictures, right? But you don't know. It's curved object. I mean, it's a curved shadow. It doesn't mean the curved object is a ball or a curved object is flat. It's not a proof. There's no evidence to support it, right? You can't tell if that's a ball shadow casting that shadow or if it's a flat object casting that shadow, that curved shadow. Hard to tell. I mean, I could if I had a full day with the right lighting, better materials, camera setup, maybe a second person to help me, I could probably cast a lot more accurate, because I would basically have a moon the size of this. This is 6 inches wide, so they're both the same size, right? The width at least. But the moon picture, of course, is huge, so I'm not gonna get the right type of stuff. Anyways, no matter what, whoever it is, what I would love to do is I'd like to have a survey and easily just have one picture that's exactly how it is, but then insert the object that's casting a shadow. People could take that survey. Globers, you can take that survey. You know what's going to happen? You're probably going to get it wrong. We'll take this. We could tally the score. I mean, flat earthers aren't going to know either. If they had to make a guess, round object, flat object, casting that curved shadow on the moon. Globers, flat earthers, it's going to be the same result. It's going to be close to 50%, whatever. You know, no one's going to get it correctly unless they know the answers already. So right there you go. That's the round object casting that curved shadow. Same thing. Now this is the flat object casting that curved shadow. Pretty much the same curve, right? I mean, the angle has to be tough because wherever I'm taking the picture, I need to be straight on, but I'm not. And I'm doing all this by myself, holding the camera, which is not the best way to do it. But especially if I'm holding this, if I'm just angled slightly off, it's not going to be quite a good curve. But it's hard to tell, right? They both cast a round curved shadow. round ball, flat object. Round ball, flat circle. Round ball, flat circle. You get that same shadow. Shadow is a shadow. You can't see depth to shadow. Okay. And there's the ball on the moon. There's the flat object being held in front of the moon. And then you've got both objects on this. So that's what I did for the last 2 hours. I was just finding the material, cutting it all out and all this other stuff. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this little observation and see if people can get it right. Because this is a big part of how can you debunk flat earth theory. And the thing is, if you take NASA out of the equation, because if you think the moon landing was a hoax, what's next? Flat earth. Right? Because then you can't believe, well, yeah, you're not going to believe anything that NASA tells you. You're not going to believe the pictures of Earth. So if you think NASA's moon landing is a hoax, then everything that NASA does is a lie. You're not going to be able to use anything that NASA tells you as far as what the globe Earth looks like. They've already lied, and it was a huge one. So the proof lies in, okay, the proof was 2,000 years ago. And then now that you can't really use that the curvature of ships over the horizon or helicopters over the horizon, and you can't know for sure because of the curvature of a shadow. You don't know if the object is a flat object or if it's a round ball, just because of the curvature of the shadow of the moon. So it gets pretty fun. It gets interesting, and then you go to the math. Oh, the math is always right. So the measurement of the Earth's circumference, it was measured by Eratosthenes. He calculated the Earth's circumference. Earth's circumference without ever leaving Egypt. So I want you to calculate the Earth, the radius of the Earth, without leaving your home, with 2 sticks and a sundial, and then figure that out. Well, first you're gonna have to figure out that the Earth is a globe. So how do you figure that out first? Someone's word for it? I mean, he pretty much goes on the word from Aristarchus and probably even Aristotle, saying, hey, the Earth is round. And when you listen to certain people, especially mainstream and especially NASA, it's funny because what they'll say is something like, I love watching her because it's just so crazy.
So, Oscar, you asked the question, what are some of the easiest ways that you can prove that the Earth is round? Because apparently this is something that we're debating. I have no idea why. That's a hard thing.
She has no idea why. I think that's a lie right there. I think she knows why.
For me to even start talking about, because there are so many proofs that the Earth is round, it's difficult to know where to start. And it's not okay to think that the Earth is flat.
That's the best part. It's not okay to think that the Earth is flat. It's not okay, guys. It's not okay. She cracks me up. All right, let's look at some of the chat. Sorry, I was kind of going off of my thing and I didn't really focus on it. Kathy B, good morning. Oh yeah. Well, it's not quite morning over here. Bob and Uncle works security for NASA contractor building Apollo gear. Took me on a weekend tour and I saw plenty of real stuff firsthand. Fake conspiracy, not buying it. You don't need to buy it. Buy into it. And I don't know. Let's see. Nathan Fowler, evening everyone. Well, it's 6 minutes into the 23rd here on the East Coast. No, they knew it was flat 2,000 years ago. Actually, yeah, that's true. And it's the same video here. It's like we've known for 2,000 years. I mean, come on. It's been such a long time that we knew that the Earth was a globe, right? Not to think about all the years before the 2,000 years ago. How long has human civilization been around? Hundreds of thousands of years. So hundreds of thousands of years. And, you know, if we're talking about what people thought for the most length of time, I think the flat Earth wins. All right, let's see. Nathan Fowler, 500 years ago, the lies started. Ebon, the Tom Selleck stash. Anyone saying Apollo space program added by YouTube below Ebon's screen? Oh yeah, the Apollo space program stuff. Yeah, they like to do that with the flat Earth. It's just funny. The other thing that that's good, and I should probably see, if you guys watch Red Pill Philosophy, I mean Google even says it. Look, I barely went into the attacks. There's the documentary called Behind the Curve, which was early released in November 22nd, 2018 in Russia, but they released it maybe a month ago on Netflix in the US. There's the recent Logan Paul, I don't know, kind of mockumentary. And in January 2019, Google says we'll begin reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that can misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the Earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. So they can't show mainstream media covering 9/11 because that would be blatantly false. Or they won't be able to show George W. Bush saying that there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I guess you won't be able to find that. Oh, wait, no. They mean mainstream media. They can make whatever false claims that they want. Individual people, they can't question. They can't think. Where's that? Yeah, they can't think. Whew.
Where to start. And it's not okay to think that the Earth is flat.
Guys, it's not okay to think that the Earth is flat. Sorry, I just can't stop. He's giving the 70s porn star flashbacks. Oh, I hope not. Encyclopedia Britannica, Boxer redirect. Oh yeah, that's true. Try casting shadows on a lunar globe. You should try casting shadows on a lunar globe. Hi Bob, hi Kathy. Sumo Live just started. I like it. Sumo Live. Captain Will, good to see someone doing their own observations. Thank you. Anyone try balancing eggs on vernal equinox? Just kidding. Is that okay? So why can't I stand on the beach in Ludington and see the Milwaukee skyline with monoculars? It's about 96 miles. Let's see. Low gain Paul. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of videos you can watch, Bob. And who knows? Maybe on a clear day, telescope, Nikon P1000, whatever it is. It's but again, that's besides the point. You know, after you think that the NASA moon landings are a hoax, it's flat Earth. What's next? Flat Earth. Because if you can no longer believe in NASA and anything that they do, well, we're basically resorting to 2,000 years ago claims that the Earth, it was a globe. And 2,000 years ago, they didn't have planes, they didn't have rockets, they didn't have telescopes, they didn't have space stations, they didn't have video cameras, they didn't have cameras, photography. They just took it on a guy's word. And, you know, it's pretty much the same thing we're doing with NASA and the government. So, wow, that was 25 minutes. I thought, I was like, how am I going to make this go an hour? 25 minutes is good. It just kind of went on a big tangent. But I like it. Look, we've got so much ammo that the mainstream government and government agencies like NASA, mainstream media, news, and mainstream platforms like YouTube and Google with their search algorithms, they're just attacking flat Earth like crazy. They are. It's crazy because they know why. Because what's next? It all falls down. Was it George Herbert Walker Bush said, "Sarah, if the American people knew what was done to them, they'd chase us in the streets and lynch us." Yeah, I think that's what would happen. I mean, there's not enough of people, but I think what's happening is, as we see, at least the U.S. government, other governments in the world, they're always being lied to. And the biggest lie of all, that if we can find, like, for example, what's stopping us from finding out that the Earth is probably most likely not round, and so currently we observe it that it's flat. And well, for example, Antarctica, it's gonna be hard to verify and go there. It's restricted by many countries. Arctic, the North Pole, the Arctic Circle, there is no treaty, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty hard to get there. And well, we're not going to go up into space. Civilians aren't, unless you're probably someone famous or whatever. They tried sending that teacher up there. Remember the Challenger explosion? Explosion like that happened because there's a civilian, the first civilian ever to go up into space. And guess what happened? Well, they don't want to send up a civilian up into space anymore. That's the reason why they did it. Let's see. Same reason the Blue Ridge Mountains look blue from a distance. Moisture in the air, they're actually green. And yeah, Bob, go ahead and look into Eratosthenes. I would like you to do your own measurements with noon shadows at different latitudes, but don't leave your state. Don't leave your country. Just do that, and see if you get the same calculations. And how would, again, you're going to have to presuppose that the Earth is a globe to get that same measurement. If you don't presuppose it, you're not going to come up with the radius of the Earth. Sorry, you are not. And so that's fine. Agents, especially agents that have no face, no name, they're going to be very, very, very resistant to the idea. If you watch Nathan Oakley's debates, people you don't know their real names, you don't see their face, they're very resistant. They hunker down, they double down on their ignorance. And the thing is, everyone who's a flat earther, or I would say a great majority of people who are flat earthers and making a lot of flat earther content, they were globe earthers. They believed in the globe model. Everyone's indoctrinated into the globe model. Even in school, even if you went to private school, I guess you probably still go into that. If you're homeschooled, home raised by very religious people or whatever, maybe you grew up thinking that the Earth is flat. But that's pretty much a small minority. So yeah, the thing is, people who were globers, who became flat earthers, we were never that bad. We never stuck around in flat earth debate channels or in flat earth, people talking about flat earth channels and just hounding them day in, day out, every day, making videos of trolling the flat earthers. I mean, there's plenty of things you could do that are much better. Even me, you've got me to the 1,113 subscribers yet. Same people day in, day out. They don't agree with me at all. They keep watching. It's like, huh, why do you guys really like watching me? I mean, you guys don't agree with anything I say, yet every time I'm on, you seem to be on and commenting. It's like, really? What's so entertaining? There's so many more channels that are more entertaining, and I don't get it. It's like, hey, you could be watching Logan Paul videos. You could be watching the like PewDiePie videos. Those have a lot of good content. You could be watching videos of someone else talking about flat Earth. It doesn't have to be me. I mean, if you watch flat Earth videos from all the people in the flat Earth community, you wouldn't be able to watch them all in a 24-hour day. There's just so much content. And they've been at it for way longer than me. If you were watching my stuff because of the politics, well, there's plenty of people covering politics who had a lot more subs than me when I started. I probably had started with maybe 20 people, and the people who were the big political talkers, they had like 50,000 subs and whatnot. They're probably in the 100,000s now. I'm barely breaking 1,000. So it's like, why are you here? Because agents, they need to track and follow certain people, regardless, because they just don't want people making videos. And stem any flow. It's not like it's gonna stop me from making these videos. But again, why are you here? What is it that you like about my videos? You know, it's like you definitely don't agree, but you want to keep watching, and it's fine. It's just more ammo for me. Just like there's so much more ammo for flat Earth because the mainstream is doing so much to cover it. Here's the thing, and this is where it might get some people, because I was looking into it too, the whole Tartaria thing, how they were totally erased from history, and we get a lot of the truther community that don't believe in, or I would say don't not believe in the globe Earth, right? The people in the flat Earth, it's not a belief. We know because the belief is that the globe is round, because there's not enough evidence to support it. So the only way you can support it is by just believing it is so, by believing people who say it is so, and believing people who say it's been measured by space agencies, laboratories, etc., with these special equipment, which you don't know the names of, you don't know what they even look like, there's no pictures, you don't see the data coming from them, you don't see videos of it, you don't see blueprints, you don't see anything. And but they're going to tell you precisely how accurate it is compared to someone who just did the calculations up to 2,000 years ago. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know about it once you go on. Kohina, again, wow, I get a lot of people starting to come in. It's like, again, there's more exciting people to watch than me. Maybe the stash is doing a little bit better, but really, I don't really provide much. Maybe I could think about it a certain way. Maybe I could observe a couple things on my own. But again, if we're resorting to it was proved 2,000 years ago, and you're going to debate flat earthers that, hey, we don't even need NASA. We don't need the photos. Let's forget the photos. Let's forget all the ISS and all this other stuff. It's like, we proved it 2,000 years ago. And then you look into the proofs of 2,000 years ago. It's like, damn, how did they figure that out? Because right now, are you smarter than the people 2,000 years ago? I mean, you're going to say, no, of course I'm not, because I can't do the same calculations and things as them. It's like, that's pretty sad. It's like, we have a 2,000 advanced civilization, and you can't be smarter than the smartest person 2,000 years ago, or I wouldn't say the smartest, supposed one of the smartest people during that time. It'd be like saying you're not smarter than the most smartest caveman 20,000 years ago. It's like, really? Maybe someone 20,000 years ago, they invented a wheel. What have you invented? You Can't. You're gonna say, "Oh, I'm dumber than that caveman." Caveman found wheel smart. Caveman smart. Nah, I don't get it. But you know what? I like the agents. You're having to resort to watching me, someone small, someone with barely any subscribers, making a lot of videos. I have so many videos. What is it, 700 videos? Maybe. Let's look at my videos. Let's do my own search. Oh, 690 videos. That's quite a lot. And then the thing is, my videos aren't like 10-minute snippets. You'll see some of them going on for 4 or 5 hours, maybe even 8. It's kind of bad when you know that the limit of a YouTube live stream used to be 8 hours and now it's 4. I mean, I think actually we might have come close to, was it 12 hours one day? I think we were like planning on trying to do like a 24-hour live stream. That hasn't happened yet. That would be pretty tough. Oh yeah, support group. I need support group from doing serious harm to myself. When was the last time I've ever done serious harm to myself in the last 40 years? Oh, never? You're welcome. Or thank you. When was the last time I've done serious harm to someone else? Oh, in 40 years? Never? So what's the serious harm, Bob? What's that serious harm that I'm going to do to myself or someone else? You know, because if it's serious harm, I would go ahead and call the FBI. I would call CIA, NSA, call your local cop, I guess, saying, hey, there's this Asian guy making YouTube videos of flat Earth. I think he's going to do serious harm. And they're going to be like, background check. Oh, huh. This guy, yeah. This guy's got a clean record. What's so dangerous about this guy? I don't know. Oh my goodness. He's talking about flat Earth. Red alert! Red alert! This guy needs to drown in a 2-foot swimming pool. It's like, I'm in the Navy, guys. You can't go in the Navy if you can't swim. I'm not going to drown in a 2-foot swimming pool. All right, let's see. The book link I put in a comment, Sacred 4 image lost content, page F15. No, I did not. Let me keep that down now so I can look into it. First name Mike. Stay on this topic and you will see your channel grow. This is the ultimate lie that technology will get us up from. It is part of the Great Awakening. Yeah, I think so too. I think it is. It's an important step because we are not going to resist we are not going to resist our freedoms being taken away if we keep trusting in the ones who are taking away our freedom, mainly that of the government. Because regardless if you want to say money, regardless if you want to say religion, regardless of whatever control mechanism you want to think of, government is the ones that keep everything legislated for a population group, mainly a country or a state. If the government can take it away and we keep trusting the government that, hey, it's okay for them to take away our freedoms because we trust them, we're not gonna fight back. But then here's the thing. If all these governments, not just the American government, but all the governments around the world, all the countries, all the governments around the world, they kept perpetuating the lie that they knew about, well, no one's going to be saved. Anyone who's kept up this lie for any government entity. It's not gonna, everyone is going to be pretty much outed and gone. Although the ones who will finally go, hey, you know, I don't really want to die. I don't want my family and my means of living to just be taken away from this angry mob of people who realize they've been lied to and they're going to do something other than make videos, that they're going to actually go out there and and take to the streets, find people like George H.W. Bush, but of course he's dead now, so they won't be able to find him, and lynch them, right? Those people are the dangerous ones, not me. But that's what they're afraid of. And the thing is, once the agents, they turn and they go, you know what? It's not worth protecting these assholes. Sorry for the cursing. It's not worth protecting these people who are corrupt and greedy and they don't care about me at all anyways. You're going to be like, hey, here's some things you guys got to know about. And there's a reason why I didn't blow the whistle, because me, my family, and our livelihood would have been damaged. But then there's going to be that line. It's like, okay, everyone's saying that now. We're not going to spare everybody. So the ones who actually are in the forefront of revealing everything and saying, hey, we're all screwed anyway. Might as well take the honorable way out. And also, you'll be able to probably be spared within the whatever it is. It's seriously, the whole flat earth, once everyone realizes they've been lied to, it's not an American revolution. It's not a European revolution. It's a worldwide revolution. That's what people don't understand. It's like, once you go NASA, moon hoax, what's next? Flat earth, what's next? Government decoupling. That's a good thing, because currently what's kept the game up for the last 2,000 years has been government control. And all the control mechanisms after that, banking, organized religion, what else is there? Well, a lot of information stuff, like these platforms, corporations, and stuff like that. Man, they're in trouble. And the thing, it's a tight line that they have, because right now they're attacking, right? They're attacking flat Earth, but right now, within 3 to 4 months, I mean, it seems like every month they're doing something to stymie the flat earth movement, and they're saying it's dangerous to even think that way, etc. It's going to keep going and going. And the thing is, more people are going to be looking into it. Is like, why is it so dangerous? I mean, we've got these terrorists over here that are shooting up schools. They're going to put more attention into flat earth. They're going to put more attention into, oh yeah, that stuff, that's dangerous too. We'll just, let's take away everyone's ability to have guns and we'll be fine. Except no. Basically, you've already done your research when you're a flat earther, from being a globe earther, getting into flat earther, and you're gonna already know that, hey, once they take away your guns, next thing you know, they're gonna take away your freedom of speech. Next thing you know, Holocaust, or not even Holocaust. It's more like what is it? Was that when it's just like people just die? I guess that's Holocaust, right? It's just a different type. Kathy, like my son tells me, you're not that important. I don't know what that context is. But yeah, that's another thing. The frame of thought also is with the entire space universe thing. That it's infinite, that we're a small speck, that we're not important in the real aspect of things. It's like, why do they want you to think that? Why do they want you to think you're not important, that you're powerless, you have no control, you've got nothing to offer the world? And then when you kind of realize that, whether or not you believe that, you believe all the things that the scientism people theorize, the universe sprang from nothing to create everything, and all the everything organized itself in the vacuum of space to become containers outside that vacuum, but be an open container towards that vacuum, and everything's still traveling super fast, and everything's getting further and further away from each other, yet we can go very fast, but not fast enough to see the history of the universe and all its expansions. I mean, has anyone even thought about that part? I mean, what's great is that a lot of people are waking up slowly through what they really love. Okay, what I love watching are the people who do movie reviews, because and even whatever it is, it's entertainment. Whatever it is that you love about entertainment, they're starting to see the ideology creep into, and also the narratives creep into whatever it is, the propaganda. It keeps creeping into the things that people like, and they don't like it. They don't want it. And then, you know, it opens up more doors. Like, why do they keep pushing this? Obviously, no one wants it, but obviously, these corporations, whatever, are losing money. They're losing fans. It's like, why? And then I think the big part that's also associated with flat Earth is you aren't a speck of nothing. You're important. That's a big aspect. The other thing is you understand that the control mechanisms are there by dividing and conquering these the duality of, you know, these different ideologies. That's why they want you to hate the other side. The Globers they make the Globers hate the flat earthers. But you know what? The flat earthers don't hate the Globers, because we were the Globers. Do you guys not understand? It's like me, I don't hate people who want to fix things, even though I think it's dumb. It's not going to work. People who want to fix things politically, I think whether you're left or right, you want to make things better, right? But they'll hate you for not participating, for not choosing a side. But I don't really hate them. I was them, even though I didn't pick a side, left, right. I know a lot of people who just got out of the whole political thing. You realize it's just it's not going to change anything. They probably were Democrat or Republican or liberal or conservative, you know, one of those, libertarians, green, and maybe you're like me and we're independent and whatever, it didn't matter to you. So let's see. Oh, good to see you. Antarctic expedition. So let's see. Big Time Losing Money by Nathan. Let's hope NASA will lose their $21 billion a year. Jeez. And here's the thing. 21 million. There's a lot more people who know that NASA has been lying, that the moon landing was most likely a hoax than it actually happening. And they already know that they're paying into something, $21 billion a year, for them to, we're paying them to lie to everyone else. Do you guys understand that? It's like when we're paying the government and the government keeps fighting these wars. It's like we're paying them to fight these wars. And when the banks screw up and there's a recession, we're paying them to bail out these big banks that are too big to fail. So we keep paying them to do things against our benefit. And a lot of people realize this, but, you know, it's like, well, what can we do? You know, you have to do so much research and go into so many different rabbit holes. Like, is it the Illuminati? Is it the Royal Society? Is it the Freemasons? Is it the Catholics? Is it not the Catholics, the part of the Catholics, the Jesuits? Is it the Rosicrucians? Is it the Jews? Is it the Zionists? Is it the Saudis? Is it whatever, right? There's so many of it. You have to, like me, you're gonna have to cover them all. But here's the thing that's brilliant with focusing on NASA. Once you get to the point where you know NASA was is lying and faking what had been faking everything. You're going to go to Flat Earth next. Flat Earth, all that other stuff doesn't matter. 9/11 doesn't even matter. All the psyops don't even really matter. Flat Earth is the biggest psyop of it all. And all governments, not just one government, all governments, all control mechanisms are involved. It's just the one ring to rule them all. And it is pretty funny because a ring is round, not necessarily a globe. It's, you know, I guess they turned this into a ball, you know, the one ring. And you don't have to be an expert researcher to break down all these other conspiracy theories. All you have to do is break down NASA, look into that. Why do they use certain equipment? Why don't they ever seem to have the originals that they have? How do they destroy and lose all the most important stuff? I mean, we've got the most important. Many regard the moon landings as the most important milestone for mankind, right? That quote, you know, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. That, or did I say that wrong? I hope I didn't. I mean, that's everyone regards that as just the biggest milestone ever for mankind. And that, to be a total lie, is just a poof. It's worse than a spit in the face. It's like, oh man, you know, I know generations that grew up with that ideal in their mind, and you know, I'm still part of it, but you know, I'm not passed away yet. And they died with just that whole lie, their whole life. They lived through the entire lie, and they didn't suspect anything. So NASA's a big part of it. Then the thing is, if you figure out NASA's lying, it limits the flat Earth debate, because now you can't resort to using NASA as the gatekeeper to proving that the Earth is a globe. You have to resort to the proof that they state that the people 2,000 years ago knew that the Earth was round, and perform the same thought experiment. It's not really a scientific experiment. It's like a thought experiment, which is just what is that? What's that? I don't know. I forget that. Mental gymnastics. That's what it is. It's mental gymnastics. Once you realize that you're just it's the whole globe model is a circle jerk, because you can't get to the other part of the globe without saying that globe exists. Therefore, that's why we know that it's a globe, because that knowing it's a globe proves this formula that proves that it's a globe. And, you know, you keep going around in circles, and once you wake up, and it's easier to wake up from flat Earth than anything else, because we'll never really know all these other conspiracy theories. The thing is, flat Earth isn't a belief. We know by seeing everything appears flat. You go up into the plains, it appears flat. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson will say, yeah, you're 2 millimeters above this floaty balloon model of Earth. It's flat. He says it. You can see videos of it. And more people will notice. They're gonna keep thinking. It's like, all right, they think they're so smart. Well, I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna look into and do the math myself. And then you do the math yourself, and you're gonna be like, huh, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense at all. Because in order to get all of this, the most important part, in which they put in a square bracket right here, is the radius of the Earth. You can't get the mass of the Earth until you get the radius of the Earth. This figure for the universal gravitational constant, which was measured 111 years after the actual gravitational constant from Newton was formed. So, I mean, just even think about it out of that aspect. It took someone to come up with a formula, but no one could measure it until 111 years after it. It's like, how is that a law? Or I don't know if they even call it a law, but people take it as fact, I guess. You could say it that way. It's like, I have a formula. You know, I have a formula that's that it's called there's no gravity constant. And it's proof. You can't measure it. I think it'll take about 111 years until you can measure it. But, you know, you can take it as fact. All right, let's see. 57 minutes. I made it. I almost made it an hour. Man, this thing goes fast. Like, just talking goes by really fast. And it's only been an hour. Or almost an hour. Let's see. I'm looking at the chat. I like to call it Scientology by Antarctic Expedition. Honestly, they may have invented Scientology, so we couldn't use the word against them. That's a good one. Kathy B. Sorry, something went wrong. Try reloading the page. We're working hard to fix YouTube for you as soon as possible. Anyone else's comments didn't come through. 10 of mine didn't post. Oh, man. Nice to see you, man. Hope all is well. Thank you, Antarctic. Space Force mandate, Kathy B. Yeah, and like people who are really into Trump is like, I want to know a flat earther who's really into Trump. I doubt there's anyone who's a flat earther really into politics. But if there is someone who is a flat earther who's really into Trump, is like, so what do you think about Space Force? It's like when I talked with someone who's like really into Trump, but they're so anti-Israel and Zionism and Saudis, and it's like, so what do you think of Trump's policies? How he loves giving money and listening to and helping out Saudi Arabia and Israel. It's like crickets. 4D chess, 5D chess. Okay. Exactly. Nathan went to Ebon's main channel and got the error. Ha, I wonder why. No flat earth for you guys. Ha ha ha. And I have another channel open. Sumo, but muted. Chat doesn't work. First name Mike. Well, that's just great. YouTube and stream is healthy, it shows. One thing you can do, I guess, is just not watch my live streams on YouTube. You could watch my live streams on Vimm.tv. You could watch my live streams on Periscope. You could watch it through, well, you can't do restream.me anymore. You can watch it through DLive.tv, and you can always chat there. So that's pretty much the only ways you can watch it besides YouTube. Still a lot of different ways. And if you do watch it through Periscope, it does filter through into the restream. You see how I'm moving that? You'll see people come in through Periscope, you know. So if someone says something from Periscope, it'll just appear with that model, you know. Just saying. I know YouTube is a little bit more convenient. It's just, I think they're going to be pretty limited. Because I think my last couple of videos have been about Flat Earth. Let's see. Yeah, Flat Earth in the title. Well, this one is Play a Game, You're in Charge of NASA. But I think I might... Oh, Prove Globe Earth. Yeah, I guess. And then Logan Paul's Flat Earth. Yeah. It's been quite a lot of Flat Earth lately. Wow. But we'll see. I mean, I'm still gonna talk about it. I think I just want to find ways to just boil it down to the essentials. Okay. You know, what's next? Flat Earth? Yeah. Once you know the moon landing was fake, next thing is flat Earth. Because, well, then that means the images of Earth could be fake and might be fake and is fake. That means that they never went up into space, that space doesn't quite work. Like, how do you get the second law of thermodynamics without a container? How does the vacuum of space work? And then it goes, wait, how are we spinning? How are we traveling through space, spinning, and we're not flying off? Well, gravity. And then you look into gravity. Well, how do they... Let's look at the gravitational equations. Oh, it keeps going back to Einstein's field equations. Then it goes all the way back to the Cavendish experiment, which he did 111 years after Newton's gravitational constant was formulated. And it goes back 1,500 or so years, maybe even more, back to Eratosthenes, where he did the experiment without ever leaving Egypt. He knew the where is it? Oh yeah, he calculated the Earth's circumference without ever leaving Egypt in 200 BC. And then I go, well, how did he know that that the Earth was round? Well, he had to take it on someone's word, whether it was Aristotle or Aristarchus, whoever. But then when you realize it, it's like, no, they how do they know? What experiments did they do back then, 2,000 years ago, without telescopes, without photographs, without videos, without rockets, without planes, without any of the equipment we can use? So then it gets really, really weak. And then if you actually watch, just watch. I mean, pick someone who's very, very much the spokesperson of science. Okay. For me, you know, I was big into Neil deGrasse Tyson, but Neil deGrasse Tyson will tell you already debunk when things like, if you get on a plane, you see the curvature of the Earth. You can't. It says no, it's flat. Even if you're 120,000 feet up in the air, where most planes are 30,000 feet, even 120,000 feet, you're not going to see the curvature of the Earth. It's flat, he says. Maybe you really think Stephen Hawking, he had it going. I mean, he's a very smart individual. Everyone knows him or knew him, because he never moved. You know, maybe he had facial tics, but he had the robotic voice to text to voice, right? And he had the physics of the was it universe? I can't remember. So watch him. It's like, okay, he's gonna run his experiments and prove that the globe, or the Earth is a globe and the Earth isn't flat. Well, too bad the editors had to fake it, because I would have stayed at Glober. Did you guys know that? I wouldn't have moved into flat Earth, because for me that was the deal breaker. I mean, if you can see the curvature of the Earth and the 8 inches per mile squared, you know, I'm not going to take a flat earther's word for it. But B. Fisher, hey, how's it going? Oh, I could move it over to the on top of the chat. You wanna? Oh, there we go. At first, I thought you had antlers, but it's just a stick. Try saying something. I can't hear you. I think you're muted still. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to read. First name, Mike. Great. Then Ebon. Please stay with Flat Earth and awaken Korean Americans. Ah, thanks. I still can't hear you. That's all right. While you're working on that, Kahina. Thanks for first name, Mike. Flat Earth videos on YouTube hardly even mean anything. There are like 50 spam ones per day. Flat Earth baby pictures, Flat Earth music, Flat Earth images, grocery store. But I will say that there are a lot of people that I can't hear him either, Kathy. there are a lot of people who repeat a lot of things, and that's important because even through the indoctrinated system, how did they get us to remember things? Just repeat. Excuse me. And so if you listen to it all the day until it sinks in and you're going to debate someone or just talk to someone about flat earth, you can't go on unless, like, I mean, Eric DeBay is great. He's got his 200 proofs, you know, that the earth is flat. But the thing is, you're not going to have 200, you're not going to have however long it takes to show someone 200 proofs. At most, you're going to give 3 big reasons. And then that's it. And what I like to do is take the side of the globe model. It's like, we know that the globe is, or the earth is, say you're a glober. You're going to say, I know the earth is a globe. Well, if you take NASA out of the equation, because even though I am a globe earther, I don't trust in NASA. And most people who aren't ready for flat earth are people who still trust NASA. I would have to say that. I think I can hear you now, Anton.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yep. Good.
Is it still that reverberating crap that was going on last time?
No, it's perfect.
All right, great, cool. Yeah, nice to see you again, man.
Yeah,
How are you?
nice seeing you. Yeah, good. How have you
got
been?
Got a little one of these.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, your sound is good now. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, nice, cool. Little progress, man.
Yeah.
Progress.
And your video isn't going in and out either, so it's pretty stable.
That was so bad that first time, man. That was so bad.
That's all right. So that's why I like listening to new people too, with the whole who get into flat Earth. That's why I'm kind of disappointed with the Nathan Oakley people who come in who are globers. It's like they're just either trolling on purpose, like agent trolls or whatever, or that's the only way I could think about it. Because even when I was a glober, I wouldn't do the things that those people would in Nathan Oakley's debates. And I don't know. I feel like let's figure a way to break this down simply. And it's like, let's not even talk to people who still trust in NASA. Because if you trust in NASA, all you have to do is, hey, this photo. And then you show them a photo of it being photoshopped, and the person who says, oh, so we get all this data, and you know, I have to picture in my head what the Earth would look like, and it's photoshopped, but it has to be, you know, that guy. You show them that, they still won't take your word for it. It's just like, you know, they have to use so many data, pictures, and whatnot, and so they'll trust them. So until they get to that point, you can break it down and say, okay, next thing is flat Earth. Since you know you can't trust NASA, we have to do everything that NASA proves as being fake, which is the telescopes, which is the ISS, space, vacuum in space, the pictures, the moon landing, all that stuff. And then what do you have? You've got 2,000 years ago and gravity.
Yeah, I was talking about that blue marble thing earlier today with some people at work. It's pretty interesting, you know. They're like, oh, what about, it always comes up, you know, what about the pictures? What about all the pictures and all the videos? And you're like, come on, man. Like, what I always say, my comeback is like, not comeback, but what I always say is, I'm like, man, have you seen Interstellar? You know, like, because that movie makes space look pretty realistic, you know, like, if this was 50 years ago, I'd believe any of that. You know, it looks better. It looks better than any of the stuff that NASA even puts out, frankly.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's pretty interesting. I had a pretty interesting conversation at work today. Like, at this point, everybody at my work pretty much knows I'm a flat earther, you know. And I work at a hotel where there's like, I'm in the same area as a lot of cooks. There's like 10, 15 cooks, and there's like a bunch of people in like an in-room dining area and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like today, I walked in, and it was really funny, man. Like 6:30 in the morning, I start work. I walk in, there's a podcast on talking about flat Earth. And I was like, are you guys trolling me? I was like, what? Like, I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, you know, and he's like, no, like my buddy Josh was like, oh no, like, you know, Matt over there, he, you know, you piqued his interest about the topic and stuff. So he's just like listening to it. I was like, all right. Like, I was like, okay, all right, for sure. And then like, they ended up being a topic at work, like throughout the hotel, like all day long. It was pretty interesting. People are more open-minded, I think, than we generally give them credit for, you know, when they're approached the right way.
Yeah, I think they're getting there. And I think what most people have to realize is the flat earthers don't hate the people who believe in the globe model. We hate the people who are keeping the lie, who are in control of the access of information where people can find out that the earth isn't a globe. You know, that's the government institutions, NASA, all the governments pretty much in the world that keep into it and all this other stuff. And then because what they're doing is they're telling people to hate flat earthers and saying that they're dangerous, that they're stupid, they're crazy, whatever. And it's like, do you guys not realize we can't just instantly switch to being dangerous and stupid because we came from what got out of the globe lie, right? Because all of us worked. I mean, we're pretty much exactly the same as we are, right? Regardless if you think the Earth is globe or not. For many people, it doesn't change anything. In actuality, it makes us a lot smarter because we have to look through the information and not trust other people's word for it. So, I mean, I feel like I mean, even when people come in to the Nathan Oakley debates who are from the globe side, is I can pitch them the entire globe model better than they can. So how can you still believe in a globe model when you don't even understand the position of the globe model? And I have to tell them this is the globe model, and this is why it doesn't work, or at least, yeah.
I was saying, like, I think, like, you know, the whole flat Earth thing, man. Like, you know, 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, if somebody was like, "Oh, I'm a flat earther," I'd be like, "Well, you're ridiculous." You know, like, you're an idiot, you're dumb, and like that's what you would have said. That's what anybody would have said. You know, so like now that the information is actually getting out there, where you're like, "Oh shit," like, okay, maybe it's not. Like, obviously we know it's not, but people are like starting to be a little more skeptical about it. But there's still this hangover. You know, there's this hangover from obviously 5 years ago plus forever, right? Like, yeah. That people are still in the same set, you know, and it's understandable. Like, it's not an easy thing. There's so much that everybody has to deal with beliefs, right? Like religion is like, oh my God, what a topic, right? Like, there's so many things that we all have to decide that to know what the shape of the earth is and be like, okay, I can pigeonhole that idea. At least I know that we're on where we are and we're on a globe and we're advanced enough and I'm knowledgeable enough now to where I have that and I can know that and walk away from it and always have that. To have to challenge that, even that belief, it's a hard thing, you know, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. One of the things that kills me too is when someone goes, "Oh, I can't look into flat earth because people who believe in flat earth are religious." It's like, well, I'm not religious at all. I've never been in any religion. And so explain that to me. Right? It's like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I've got to, man. I always say the same, even though like I do believe in God, but like that's pretty much where I stop. And like when people ask me, "Oh, is flat earth a religious thing?" I'm like, no, like it has nothing to do with it. I'm like, you know, it's just, it has nothing to do with it. But I mean, it's an interesting conversation. I think you and I could have a really interesting conversation about like flat earth and religion because it's we're both pretty, you know, understandable, I guess, and like realistic and everything, and you know, pretty agnostic, which I consider myself quite agnostic, even though I do believe in God. But you know, and it, like, for not, you know, and stop me if you don't want to talk about this.
No, it's fine. I'm agnostic too.
For sure, I know you're agnostic. I am like kind of agnostic, but I do believe in God. That's pretty much where I'm at. You know,
I don't look, freedom of religion. People can believe whatever they want, as long as it doesn't affect me. Like, if they believe in something and they call me a heretic and they want to burn me at the stake, yeah, I'm gonna oppose that religion. You know.
Hey. Yeah, it's just like, you know, what's interesting about it is like what happens if and this is totally an if, is like if we go to the edge and there's a firmament, if it turns out there's a firmament and we're in this globe, right, snow globe and stuff, at that point, like, what would that change your beliefs?
I mean, I do think that there are higher beings whether it's God or not, how would we know? I mean,
Right.
if you think about the most powerful being ever, the creator of the entire universe, whatever it is, creator of life itself, creator of Earth, is like, is that creator? We have to assume that that creator is limitless in power, correct?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if that being created something with, can that being create something with as much or more power than itself?
Probably could, but it probably wouldn't.
Exactly.
I guess. But
so who's to say that what that highest power creates doesn't create something that actually created us or the Earth, and it wasn't the highest? You see what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like,
totally
how would we
valid
ever
point.
know? But the thing is it's also, if I tend to encounter something that's a higher being and tells me a story and tells me you should believe in me, but then tells me to do things that I feel are wrong, should I be doing it because that being is a greater power? It tells me, hey, you should probably kill all the animals on Earth because that's what my wish is, and that's what we need to do in order to better mankind. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like, well, you must worship me or I will destroy you. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to be destroyed because that's not what I'm going to do, right? It's fundamentally wrong for me. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if you are the supreme being, God, whatever. You could be the devil for all I know. If the devil had just as much power and it was created by the highest power in the first place, it's like, how do we know? So
yeah,
that's how I see things. But
yeah.
if I see,
what's up?
But if I see a firmament, and because of all these stories with mythology, I'll probably think, okay, some higher being created it, whether it's God or someone else. I still don't know, but I'm still gonna look into it, research, question things. It's not gonna really affect me. It's not gonna affect how I live my life. It's not gonna affect how
I wonder, like, I just wonder if, like, even myself, think about myself, you know, if it turns out there's a firmament and, like, we find it and whatever, then, like, because I'm with the Bible, when it comes to the Bible, I'm like, I just have no idea, man. And I've looked into it, you know, like, and I'm like, I still am like, man, I know a lot of things, but it's really weird. But if it's a firmament, man, then, like, the Bible would have a little more credence with me. Even though, honestly, the passages it talks about with, like, the firmament, it's not, like, okay, like on the gravestone of who was it? Warner von Braun, right?
Yep.
Warner von Braun's got that statement of
like it's a Psalms, I think, and so it talks about the firmament. It's like, that's a little bit interesting.
I looked into that though. And there's like 3 different versions of the Bible that are popular or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there's only one, the King James version. There's only one that says firmament. Every other one just says like the heavens. You know, it's just like the stars and heavens and stuff. It's not like the firmament's like above. So even that's actually a little bit, because I know that's regularly cited in flat Earth stuff. Like, oh look, Warner von Braun says, but it's like that's only one version of the Bible. There's the other ones. There's only one that says firmament. The other ones don't even say firmament.
But it seems weird that someone who's, I mean, yeah, just of all the things you could put on your tombstone, I guess, and you know, 1/3 chance that it's about the firmament, right? It's just a little,
and obviously, well, he's a rocket. I mean, he was a rocket scientist, right? So he was dealing with the heavens and space and shooting up that way, and so it's sort of I take it with a little bit of grain of salt on that one, where I'm just kind of like, okay, well, whatever. Like, if there's not a firmament, if he's just up there, it could just be the heavens and the space. It could be that thing, you know. Even though first when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, but when I looked into it, I'm like, okay, it's not as crazy. But if it turns out if there is a firmament, then and he knew, then that would be very, you know, that could make a lot of sense. Yeah.
So here's the other argument, is that current society, the way it's been going for the last 2,000 years, we've known that the Earth has been a globe. But before that, I mean, we've had human civilization for hundreds of thousands of years. So do you think before that, when everyone thought the world was flat, all the mythologies, all the ancient civilizations, they had told all their stories about the firmament and the the flat Earth and stuff like that. Do you think they've? I mean, because we kind of hear the stories. They went to the center of the planet and Mount Meru and all this other stuff. But do you think any of them explored the Antarctic and actually witnessed the firmament?
I don't think so. I mean, nothing points to it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing really talks about it or anything. So you have to kind of assume it's not the case. And there's so many different, there's so many different beliefs and religions out there. And this one kind of one world knowledge that we have now, it really is, it's only been happening ever since kind of Columbus came over to the Americas and everything, right? So before that, which was only 500 years ago, right? So before that, it was like, I mean, everything was so dispersed. All these different religions believed kind of different things, and a lot of them. I mean, I haven't heard a lot of stuff. You'd know more about the different older religions and cultures making trips to the North Pole and everything. I haven't really heard a lot about that. I know about voyages up there and mapping and stuff like that, but that's about it. But there's so many different ones that have different beliefs, and I know a lot of them thought that believed that the Earth was flat and everything. And it's sort of like, that's just what they observe. And that's what you would imagine, right? If you're just plopped here and nobody tells you otherwise, you just kind of assume it was flat because it looks pretty flat. So yeah, that's just an interesting point, I guess. But I'm interested to see what you're saying about what religions, what cultures and stuff went to the North Pole to Mount Peru.
Well, that's a tough one because they don't tell stories of it's how do I explain it? It's not like the exploration stories. It's just that it exists in the center of the Earth, and this is what they did. This is what was up there, down below, and this other stuff. A lot of that's covered. I don't know how to what the name of it.
It's more like in their history of their stories and their beliefs and everything.
It's just the formation story in a way.
Yeah, okay, creation story. Got it.
Creation story. There you go. So it's like I don't like I can say, okay, center of the Earth. Where would the center of the Earth be in a globe model? It's like, can we? It's just trying to say, hey, where's the center of the Earth? Would it be in the equator somewhere? But then when it's the flat model, then all you could think of is North Pole.
Yeah.
Right? That's got to be the center of the Earth. And so it's just assumed there. And then I look into, okay, well, has anyone, instead of these mythological stories, creation stories, has anyone ever actually ventured there in the last 2,000 years or something like that? And obviously with like ship voyages and stuff like that, has anyone gone there? Has there been pilgrimages? Because I've always thought, what if the pilgrimages weren't towards Jerusalem, but the pilgrimages were actually towards the North Pole?
That's where it should be. Everybody should go underneath the center of the center of the northern star. Like at one point in your life.
Because the globe model of the Earth, anywhere could be the special point, right? Jerusalem could be the special point on globe Earth because everything else can be centered around it if that's the central part. But to have the pilgrimage in a flat Earth model to be just it'd be like, here, if this was, you're gonna make a pilgrimage, you're gonna make the pilgrimage here just because of that blast. But everything, you won't go to the center. That's not where the pilgrimage is. It just seems to make sense that it would be in the middle and that's just some random place outside of that center. And the thing is, if we're talking about pilgrimages, it's religions, and all the religions always talk about the center of the Earth, the center of creation, all this other stuff. So everything points to the center, everything points to the middle. It doesn't point to some arbitrary placement on just somewhere. So
I know that's like that could be, that's definitely. But I should know this, but where do they take the pilgrimage to? Where's like Mecca? It's in Jerusalem, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, yeah. All right. So that's obviously like it'd be like a Jewish thing, right? Trying to be like distract us from taking the real pilgrimage to the center of the earth and instead take it out to their spot and
Yeah.
make them kind of the center of attention.
And I've been kind of looking into just origins, but the thing is, it's all just imagination, really. It's like, how much can you take an ancient text, and not only that, just to take a person's translation as a matter of fact. What if it was just a bad translation, word here, word there? It can make a whole world of difference.
Yeah.
And so I try not to dwell on it, but one of the things that you do see is like the inversion of everything, right? Just like just think about just the normal cross. What does the upside down cross symbolize? You know, think of the Nazi swastika. You know, it's pretty much a reverse of just all the swastikas from around the world too. So it seems like whoever it is that seems to take control, they invert all the things that are good and make it bad. But the thing is that I mean, if organizations are the same way, like a lot of people think that the Freemasons were set up to do good, but then they got infiltrated by the Illuminati, and now they're not very good. And who's to say that couldn't have happened from the very beginning? Because they had to start somewhere, right? So my thing is, like, right now everyone thinks that the Jews are the sons of the Hebrews, that they're the chosen ones, but maybe they just found a textbook and they go, hey, we'll just say we're the chosen ones. Everyone has to believe us, and we'll just destroy everything that says otherwise. You know, that's one way to start. But the thing is, I don't want to put the blame on them, but again, they are the ones that take it upon themselves to say they are the chosen ones. There's no other race, no other religion says that certain people are the chosen ones. So you kind of have to focus on that, but to even talk about it is being anti-Semitic and racist and whatever. So
they're pretty much just the most likely cult at this like they're just the most likely bad guys, but we don't know like anything really, but they just kind of seem most likely. But really it's going to come down to whenever everything does get exposed, then we'll figure, it's going to happen, right? It's like it really is going to happen where everything's going to get exposed, and then we'll know the truth then. There's I don't know why this is coming to mind a little bit when I talk about like, everything getting exposed. It's really interesting. Like it's becoming a very popularly talked about thing where like the truths are coming out type of thing. Like I don't know if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. I follow him. He's a pretty popular guy. He's a business owner and like an influencer person. But he talks about like social media stuff, and he's like, the phone is really, it's not like making people bad. It's just exposing people for who they are. And kind of anybody who's like faking or anything like that is really starting to get exposed. It's just a really interesting thing. Just there's a lot of things coming to light. Flat Earth being one of them, of course. I was checking out those comments. Yeah, I don't know, Gary Vaynerchuk, man. Yeah, he's really he's a very, very heavy influencer, and it's interesting hearing him talking about how everybody's kind of getting exposed for who they are. And it's like, yeah, well, all the truths are kind of coming out because of the little cell phones that we hear, and this whole internet thing is really doing a lot of changing, and it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. It's going to expose things.
Yeah, and that's another thing is, it's not entirely blamed on the Jews, because we look everywhere. It's not just the Jews that are complicit. So sometimes I even wonder if the Jews are just another scapegoat. There's just so many scapegoats. It's like, oh, it's not me, it's them. It's like mobs on the street. Oh, it's not me, it's those guys. Look, they're living in that nice mansion. They don't realize that this person has like owns everything, and so he can live wherever he wants, but just knows that, hey, over there's a mansion. You gotta go for the rich guys, the rich and powerful.
Yeah, I saw the guy Brian Steele just commented that the proof of flat Earth would be the outer rim. Well, Brian, which is also my name, spelled the same way.
Yeah.
That is my goal for my channel, is to go find the edge. So that's why it's called Antarctic Expedition. So I'm trying to go find the edge. So that's kind of the goal of it all, right? Is to go find the edge so that we can prove that it's flat, so that we can actually, I mean, my opinion would be so that, you know, you can expose everybody, and then also we can all kind of go to the North Pole and figure out if there's something really there. So that's, yeah, I definitely want to take that journey to the North Pole. But
yeah, I think the North Pole is just the easiest way. I mean, it's good that we're exploring all options, because maybe it is easier to go to Antarctica. I think it's harder because it's gonna be colder.
You're not gonna be able to find the North Pole, Ebon. You can go up there, but there's no way.
All compasses point north. There's only one fixed star in the night sky. Do you know what that is? Polaris,
I know.
Right?
Polaris. I know.
There's no fixed star anywhere else in the night sky.
There's gonna be, but it's too easy to hide. It's too easy to hide because it's one location, so they can just border that up and be like, no.
But you can know by where the other constellations are. I mean,
yeah,
Dipper,
you could definitely
Dipper.
go find that point. I agree. It's just an interesting conversation, man, because I do waffle a little bit from time to time. I'm like, oh, why am I going to Antarctica when I should want to go to the North Pole? Because I want to go to the North Pole way more.
I know.
It feels harder, dude. It feels way harder because you could go up there with a bunch of people and they could just turn around and be like, sorry, this exact location where you want to go is it's actually a military base, but the North Pole is right over there, just a few miles that way. You're not even at the North Pole. Because, dude, you could look up and be like, oh, we're right underneath the. They're gonna be like, no, you're not right underneath it. It's just like a few miles in that direction, and you're gonna be like, oh, like, well, no, it's not. And they're like, yeah, it is. And then what? You know, then you get turned around. You post all that content on YouTube or whatever, and people see it, and they're gonna be like, oh, this group of people thought that was the spot, but really they're just dumb. It was actually over there. And they should have trusted like the military people. And so there's just a lot of ways to get turned around and get thwarted, you know. Antarctica, there's no way. There's no way. You can't like, okay, we'll just go around that way then and then keep going in that direction. There's like so many different ways you can find it. It's all over.
But what would you use to show people how to get there again?
How to get to where?
To Antarctica, to that spot that you proved.
Dude, if you find it and you take pictures of it and shit and you come back with it, or a bunch of people see it and come back with all these stories and stuff, then
I mean geographically, whether it's through the stars,
which route would I take or whatever?
Well, however you find it, because maybe it's hard to even map out because we don't really have a working map of flat Earth, right?
Right.
So you're just gonna have to keep exploring Antarctica until you find something. But what's gonna be the way that people will find it again? You're gonna have to kind of use some marker of some kind. That would typically be the night sky. So you'll have to record the constellations. You'll have the same problem as the North Star. The only problem is you're gonna have to.
I mean, people, you'd be able to get to it from anywhere if it turns out.
You're kind of broken up. Hold on. My connection is unstable.
It's not working.
Just connection is unstable.
Oh shoot! Sorry, man.
That's right. So the last 30 seconds, I don't know what you said. But here's my thing, right? If you say this is Earth, I'm gonna have to print out an Earth picture, except probably not. Okay, think of this as a flat Earth, right? You just decide to go here, and it's like, oh wait, what we need to do is it's impassable. There's just huge ice wall sheets, whatever. So you decide to go, like, all the way over here. The distance from there all the way to there is a lot further than. Okay, it's not quite the center. Let's go there. You see what I mean?
I mean, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, like you're right, but I mean, you can still go anywhere in that. I wish I had a circle thing I could point to. This is a small circle, but so this circle here is. I mean, you could go even if I started here and I went and found the edge right here. I come back and tell everybody, then they could just go up here and do it themselves, or go over. I can still tell them where I launched. To be like, yeah, I landed here and I went south and found the thing, found the wall and stuff, so you can find it yourself. I mean, you can't. When I find it here, anybody can go anywhere, you know, like anywhere, and find the same exact thing. It doesn't even matter. Like if I go any direction, it's a win, you know, as long as you just keep going in one direction, any which way south, you're gonna find something, you know, and
But
it's
what?
pretty easy.
But what if it's just all ice? I mean, say there's no mountains. Like if we look at Google Earth, you can see kind of mountainous regions and stuff. What if it's just totally all ice? It's like, how are you gonna say just keep going that direction? And remember, south is just everything that's not north in the flat.
Right. But it's
Flat
if I keep going south and it turns out it's just an infinite plane or whatever, right? If it turns out that's the case, instead of me hitting a firmament and being like, cool, picture, I come back, success. If it turns out that's not the case and it's an infinite plane or goes hella far anyway, then I'll go so far to where if the sun is local, right? If it's close to Earth and everything, and you go hella far south, you're gonna end up not even seeing the sun at all, right? Even in the dead of summer for the southern hemisphere, you're not gonna be able to see it.
How are you gonna survive?
Well, once I get to a point where I'm like freezing cold and I'm like, oh my god, the sun is not even visible for 24 hours, and I document that on a video, right? I'm like, okay, I haven't seen the sun for 24 hours. I'm in Antarctica. It's a clear sky, clear day. Then that's proof right there as well, you know.
You'd have to go there on like near the summer solstice, because if you go in the dead of winter, they're gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna have 24 hours no sun in the dead of winter.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I'll go in the dead, for us, the dead of winter, for them the dead of summer, you know, where it's like 24-hour sun. You actually should be able to see the sun completely the further south you go, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know we're getting into Antarctica shit again.
No, it's good. Let's see. Yeah, it's just Brian and Nathan talking. I like reading what everyone chats. It's good stuff. Because what I like about it, when there aren't people trolling and you're frozen again. Okay, we're good. What I like about when people aren't trolling, the conversations that are in the chat, it's pretty cool, because I'm taking a look at them. It's useful. I feel like, okay, this is a good way to look at things. Or some of them, like Nathan, is just so knowledgeable. It's like I even forget all the research that I do, and where I'm just pouring into it, and it's like I can't remember again. Nathan's right there. It's like, oh, Book of Enoch. Oh, 12 tribes of Israel, and all this other stuff. Is like, oh, right. And the same thing with you. Is like we're all in tune, constantly researching, constantly looking at trying to look at things from not just a different perspective, but a perspective where everyone could easily recognize, right? What's the point of having a very unique perspective that no one else can really imagine or formulate? It's just so out there. It's like, how, like you'd have to do mental gymnastics or something like that. It's not going to get people to think a certain way, because it's just going to be too difficult to think that way.
Yeah. I saw Brian Steele there said it was saying if you use the global map of Antarctica and then you go across it, that it would confirm the flat Earth was false and that the globe model was correct. And I'm like, yes, and like that's exactly why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not afraid, right? Like I know the truth, and like I'm happy to go and prove it. And that's why I hope that people who believe in the globe will not like bash the idea. They'll be like, okay, yeah, go find the, oh, you are actually trying to find the edge, then like go find the edge, you know, like, or like, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to, you know.
Yeah.
So
the only ones who are going to prove that the Earth is a globe, or if it's flat, is going to be someone that's a flat earther. Because a globe earther is going to say, hey, we already live on a globe Earth. We already know.
Yeah.
And so we don't need to go searching for it. We just have NASA. We have Eratosthenes. We've got Newton. We've got Einstein. They already figured it out. I don't need to figure it out. So they're not going to ever go looking. But we're like, no. All that stuff. We got liars. We got people who just presupposed. It's like, we're going to go look for ourselves. And then what happens is, hey, we're not allowed to go looking.
I know. It's so frustrating. And yeah, it's I know this guy Brian's saying, and maybe take his point here. He's on my side here. He's all, whether you're in the North Pole or the South Pole, you're going to be miserable and never want to do the trip again. So choose wisely. And that's why, and that's what I think about. Like, if I go to the North Pole and it ends up I get thwarted in all these ways that I think are totally possible, they're like, oh, you're in the wrong spot or whatever, right? And you get turned around, then it's going to kind of kill all the momentum, right? Like, you're kind of like screwed at that point. Like, no, let's go again. They messed with us and showed us the wrong spot and didn't let us go to the right spot, which would be true. But like, all the momentum is just killed at that point.
But all the depictions, whether it's through the mythologies or through the people who supposedly went to the North Pole and documented it, is that it has its own unique light. Sunlight is like a dark light. It's unique warmth. Like, you would think that on a globe Earth that it would just be just like the South Pole in Antarctica. It would just be freezing cold, except it's not. And one of the ways that I kind of think that it's more so that way is just through the animal life and the vegetation. Because I'm a big nature guy. So if you look at all the types of fish, all the types of animals that live up near the Arctic, all the birds, all the mammals, sea mammals that go and just make their migration trips. I mean, they could be feeding on the equator because that's where the most sunlight, the most warmth should be, the most life are, but they migrate up to the Arctic Circle. They don't ever migrate down to the Antarctic. It's always the Arctic. I mean, you got the Arctic terns. They're not going all the way to the Antarctic. They're going to the Arctic. And probably the only animals that you see that kind of live near the Antarctic are the penguins. Right? But you also got penguins in the Arctic. But it's just, the closer you get to the Arctic, there seems to be a lot more signs of animal migrations. And it doesn't make sense that they would migrate towards the North Pole. Of course, the way that the scientists explain it, scientism, whatever.
Scientology.
Yeah, it was, well, the Earth's magnetic pole, even though it's not strong, it's stronger than the South Pole, and that the animals are more attuned to it, and so that's why they go to it. But regardless, they're attuned to it. It's more the animals go there. Obviously, it's not super cold and uninhabitable, because otherwise, there would be there wouldn't be such a big differential between the animals migrating to the Arctic as opposed to the Antarctic. Anyways, it just seems a little bit, we're gonna have to figure out all the angles, and I don't think we may not even be the ones venturing out there. It might have to be younger people, because I'm realizing I'm getting older. I'm 40. It's like even my knees aren't holding up very well, but but my will is there. So that also makes a difference. We played the Gattaca scene. It's like, our willpower is strong, so that might surpass any of our physical limitations. I mean, if you had to choose between someone you take, someone who's super athletic but had no willpower, or someone who had a lot of willpower but weren't as strong, I would take the willpower guy or gal over the super strong person that doesn't have a lot of willpower, because then they'll just quit and go back. I mean,
I'm taking everybody I can get, man. Like, honestly, like if I go or I'd take anybody. Like, you want to come and make it 20 miles and then be like, okay, like, I'm kind of burnt out, my knees are hurting and shit, like, I gotta turn around, it's too cold, my knees hurt, whatever. Like, okay, but you can still pack in a lot of shit and hand off food and supplies to us, and like, to report back to people that we went in that direction. It's like, dude, useful. Like, everybody's useful, and like, I don't know, myself, I'm ready to go. I'm 32 and I'm like in the best shape of my life. Like, I could run across, I could do some shit. I can do some damage.
Yeah. All right, let me look at the comments. Well, Brian Steele, anyone who proves that the FE model is false would be immediately disavowed by the FE community.
That's true. That's why I'm trying to get everybody to come, So I'm trying to get everybody in the flat earth community to be like, come with. Everybody is welcome to come with. So you get the entire community to go. Then what are they going to say,
I don't know. I feel like a flat earther would do their due diligence. You know, I think we would do it right. And it's like, we would also say, don't believe me, because that's what every flat earther says. Do your own research. Here's my coordinates. Here's exactly what I did. Here's everything that you need to do to get there. And this is what I found. Like, you could say I didn't find direct evidence, but I got to a point where the sun didn't come up and it was so freezing. And you could take a picture of the night sky. It's like, these are the constellations. Has anyone ever seen these constellations before? Or maybe you get to the point and it's like the stars end. I mean, that would be something. I mean, you can see constellations if you look north, but then you actually look to a point south where it's just totally dark. The sun doesn't even go there. You don't even see stars or constellations. It's like, that shouldn't happen in a globe model of the Earth, right? We should be seeing stars constantly. But if but who knows, at the edge of the firmament or whatever, maybe we just you don't see it, because
I mean, dude, if you can go like 3,000 miles is about how far across Antarctica is, right? It's about the size of the United States. And if I just went, what's up?
Oh, west to east, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, depending, I'm approximating, but so if I go that far or more, then that would be proof right there as well, right? It would be like, okay, well, you know, I just went farther than the continent is supposed to even exist, so that must be proof right there as well. So as long as you document how far you go, I think that would do a lot as well. But
I mean, if that happens, then you can say, well, we pretty much proved it's not a globe Earth, and most likely there may not be a firmament, but at least we're at least 1 out of 2. It's better than
figuring something out. Figuring something out.
And I wonder how far the extent of the military from all over the world are at monitoring and guarding the Antarctic. I mean, I feel like the Arctic. I don't know, because I feel like the Arctic. Because the mythologies state that the North Pole is a spiritual journey. If you on certain accounts, it's like if you go there, well, one, you have to have the mind of a child, which is interesting enough. The other part is you can't get there physically. So does that mean you die, right? But you get to go and choose based on your intent or your will. You know, so it's like, is that to be taken literally? Is that supposed to be taken, you know, some other way? You know, because you don't know. That's the thing with mythologies and stories and biblical stuff, all that other stuff. Whether it's an allegory or a parable, right? Or is it really literal? It seems to be a mix of those, and we have to kind of assume which one it is.
That's it. Could be where if you go up there and if you're like a dick, then you just see ice and stuff, right? But if you're a good dude, then you end up seeing the Mecca, right?
I would say if you don't believe, like maybe you have to have some faith. Like I'm expecting to see something, but someone who goes there that's not expecting to see something, maybe they don't see it. So maybe it's what we it's like one of those things is it is what you expect it to be that will be there. And so I don't know what movie I would think of, but it's just like you know, some people would say, hey, I see this, and I go, I don't see it, because they just don't.
It's like Peter Pan, right? It's the Peter Pan. They're like, oh, what are you eating, food? And they're like, what do you mean there's no food here? He's like, no, you have to imagine. And all of a sudden all the food's there, and they're like throwing it around.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, there's so many people talking.
And that's the good conversation, Ebon. You know?
Yeah, sometimes I just want to stop talking just so I can read the chat. And then, I mean, it's easy to do if I'm the only one on, because I could just stop and start reading the chat out loud. But I feel like then I'm just kind of ignoring you from.
No, dude, no, go for it.
No, I'm just reading it quietly. But...
Crack me up, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. Brian's still like, there's just not enough military to cover the entirety of the flat Earth model. So you might be able to sneak through a lot easier. But maybe it's so dangerous they figured, hey, no one would make it back alive. So go for it.
That just makes me want to go even more, dude. That's just the challenge, right? Like, just that this exploration is possible. It's just really exciting, you know? It's like, oh my God, there's still stuff to explore.
But the thing is, if I was a military person, and I was, but if I was a strategist, I would go, it's not about, we don't really have to patrol that area and people going to it. We just have to patrol people coming back from that location. Right? Because if they go for it and it's dangerous, they're going to die early. And if it is dangerous, then we're just going to leave, we're just going to have personnel that are in danger, and it's just harder to keep things running well without casualties. But if you're just in a good spot and you just looking over to where the dangerous area is and you see anyone coming back, then it's like, okay, well, now we'll deal with it.
Yeah, like if we make it to the wall or the firmament, right? Find the firmament and we're coming back, they're like, okay, yeah, you found it, but you know, we got you now. Like, good luck getting back.
So I think that's the more likely scenario. It's like, because another thing is it's political. So they go, you're not allowed there. And you go, oh, okay, I'm documenting this, that we're not allowed there. Instead, you get there, they go, oh yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, it's a treaty. There are markers that says you probably shouldn't go there. It's too dangerous. And then when you come back with like evidence, they'll take your photograph, your video camera, and they go, oh yeah, you're just not allowed there. You're allowed to explore that area. And so you're left going back home with nothing. You just tell a story and say, hey, they took all my stuff. It's like, who's gonna believe you? So, you know, I think it's more of that. Which is,
you have to go with attention, man. You have to go with attention and people, right? If you go with attention and people, and then you're like, I'm going in a straight line, and if they say don't go this way, you're like, okay, well, I'll just go this way, right? Like, either way, there's like a million, like if this square here that I'm in is the Antarctica, you can just go, okay, I'll go over here then, right?
Yeah.
And like, there's just no way. The more attention you bring to it, the more they turn you around, the more people are going to want to go figure out what's there.
Yeah. Well, what I also think is you need people out there where the patrols are, so when you do come back, they can bear witness, you know, to what the guards are doing. But then that's also a bad thing, because they could control 100 people, but they could probably control 1,000 people, or they could just say, hey, there's a cruise accident out near wherever, and 1,000 people just go missing. And so maybe numbers isn't also good. Maybe more that draws more attention. They can see people, but maybe, you know, it's just like Frodo, you know, and gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Sam. Yeah, they can sneak into Mount Doom because they don't have an army. It's just two of them, and with Gollum. But if they, but like when gosh, what's his name? The king. Why am I not remembering things? But you know, when they like Return of the Kings, when they came back with a large army to distract.
Sauron.
Sauron. Yeah, to distract Sauron, got his attention. So. You know.
Well, that's what I was talking about before, right, Ebon? I was like, dude, I'm gonna give it all the attention, and then somebody else is gonna sneak over and get it and come back.
Yeah, that works too. So, all right, good stuff. So it's going on to 2 hours now. I was gonna end it an hour ago.
I know that I popped on.
But I'm glad you came on. You know, not many people come on and talk about flat Earth stuff, and when I am on Nathan Oakley's thing, it's just kind of taken up by the circle jerking globers who won't admit to anything.
You went on Nathan Oakley's show?
Oh yeah, I go in the morning. You could go in on him too. It's just a Google Hangout. So in the description box in YouTube, at the very bottom, it'll have the link. Except it fills up at 8 people, but it's also hard to get a word in sometimes. So I just have to pick my moments where it's like, I haven't talked at all. I just want to say one thing. and I'll keep saying, I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing, and I say it, and then I'll just be quiet the whole time or leave. But it's good.
A lot of people.
Yeah, but it's good. I like listening to everyone and just kind of get their take on it, and just sometimes I just get really annoyed because the globe people, I know that they're agent trolls or whatever, and it's like, look, I understand the model, the globe Earth model, because I came from there. It's like, how do you not know it and you're still fighting it? It's like, it just kills me. It's like, like for me, I was like, you know, I was getting closer and closer to saying, all right, I'm a flat earther, but there really isn't enough evidence, you know, just because NASA lies, you know, isn't enough evidence. But then I look at okay, so how did people 2,000 years ago figure out that the Earth was a globe? Because if they figure it out, I can figure it out because we don't have to rely on technology. And then I look into it and I was like, well, again, right? What casts a shadow over the moon? Can it be flat? Can it be round? It doesn't matter. You can't tell. It's just a shadow. Shadow has no three-dimensional shape. It's just two-dimensional. So you can't tell what's casting it is a two-dimensional object or a three-dimensional object, especially if it's a circular object. So that didn't help. I was at that point I was more into like you can't tell either way. Just like if you know when you look at the stars, it's like, wait, we're looking at the stars to find out what's beneath us. It doesn't make any sense, you know. And then the biggest one is the curve. It's like we should see the curve, right? The 8 inches per mile squared, the ships going over the horizon, and then I see all the videos with the Nikon P900 zooming in, and then there's even there's like the refraction and all this other stuff, and I didn't really get into the refraction part. And then I saw that documentary, the PBS by Genius by Stephen Hawking. It's like once I saw those 3 birds, I was like, okay, you guys faked the result. I had to take the side of the flat Earth. Because now, just like NASA, it's like I can't believe anything NASA says. Now I can't believe anything that the mainstream or scientists say, because they faked their data, and I caught them at it. Other people caught them at it. So it's like, well, we can't trust them either now. So now that's when I was like, okay, if they have to lie about the results of the globe Earth, it's not a globe Earth. Like it's easy.
I watched that video of those birds. That was pretty interesting.
Sorry, I'm not sure if it's my audio or if it's your mic.
Oh,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, we don't need more issues on my end. But I watched that video with the birds and everything. That was pretty interesting. Did you catch that, or did some of you see it on?
Someone else caught it, but they didn't do a
good side.
They'll just do that. Just those 2 parts, but without like the few parts before it and a few parts after it. And they always say it as Discovery Channel. And I was looking through Discovery Channel. I was like, I can't find a Discovery Channel episode, but I found it on Amazon Prime through PBS. So I had to watch multiple videos of it. And also, if you play it back live, no matter what, it's gonna be slightly off sync because they edited the video. So they also edited the frame by frame.
The speed, right? Yeah.
So no matter what, I couldn't sync the video frame no matter what. But if I do a snapshot where one part of the video like jumps a few frames and then it evens up, and then it jumps a few frames and it evens up. I mean, but it's totally easy to see that they're exactly the same birds, same formation, but with the edited out helicopter snippet part. So, I mean, and the second video snippet part was quick. It was like 2 seconds. It wasn't even I don't think it was even a second long. It was barely a second, but you just had to catch those 3 birds. That was the only way you could tell that it was faked or edited. And so that was my turning point, and that's the funny thing to attribute Stephen Hawking is the one who got me and 3 birds to get me into the fully into the flat Earth model, or not model, flat Earth, and away from the globe Earth model. And it's funny because you have to watch how you say certain things, because flat Earth isn't a model. The globe Earth is the model, and we're going away from the model, just going by what we see, and what we see and observe, it's flat. And you know, the only times we see it's not flat is when globers who are known to lie tell us what they see and it's a lie. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting being like, you know, I don't mean to like reference the Bible and stuff. I'm not like a big Bible person, but yeah, because they talk about like only children will like enter heaven or something. I feel like that's probably in there. But it's like, you know, you really have to have a kind of a childlike mind and be really open-minded, essentially, you know, to be able to believe in it, to be able to entertain the idea of flat Earth, and then even to end up believing it. You know, you have to really be like open-minded.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, were you kind of a troublemaker or just against authority growing up?
I mean, it's fair to say that. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because I was the same way. I wonder if, you know, just because of our personality traits or something, you know, just kind of against the grain, helped us get here.
Yeah, it's definitely true. You know, like it's like, you know, you grow up and it's like everyone's trying to get you to learn things, right? And you're like, wait, you start being like, after you hit like now third grade, right? You know, you're done when you're out of like multiplication and division. You're like, yeah, I need to learn that, and how to read. You're like, yeah, I need to know how to read. I can see this, and then you start going on from there and all these like social studies and stuff, and you start being like, wait, why, first of all, why am I reading this? Like, how do I know this even like happened? And like, why am I like being forced into this like mind control? They're just telling me stuff. I want to think on my own, and like kind of making you think stuff. And it gets pretty frustrating. You know, you get kind of anti-establishment. You get kind of like, you know, kind of start rebelling. You start rebelling because they're trying to control you, and you're like, you start to get pissed about it, right? And you're like, so yeah, maybe that's part of where it comes from. You
know? Yeah. I wonder if I don't know. Because what's funny is, actually, you say you're 33, so you're kind of in the same generation.
Yeah. But
yeah, I feel like there's a lot more movies back in the 80s and 90s of kids in high school and stuff. But like I don't know if that's the case now. It feels like high school's a lot different in the 2010s. Like the same troubles isn't the thing, because I mean, like back then jocks, I guess, didn't have anything better to do except, you know, drink and party and whatever. But nowadays, you know, they'd rather just play video games, you know, violent video games, and you know, text, and you know, probably do the same stuff. But it's not like, I'm not gonna waste my time on picking on anyone else. I'm just gonna do my own thing. You know, but back then it's like, man, I got nothing better to do. Yeah, so it has just different tension, different drama and stuff back then. And like back then, being geeky and nerdy wasn't the cool thing. Nowadays, it's like you have to be geeky and nerdy to be cool.
It's totally different now.
Yeah, it's
now like a scientist is like the new cool guy, is like the nerd. Yeah. Like the nerd is the cool guy now, right? It's like, okay.
So it's just totally different. It's like, oh man, maybe I'd be pretty cool if I grew up, if I was in high school right now. Oh man,
cool, Ebon.
Yeah. Oh, it's just because of the stash.
Dude, the stash is just looking on point.
You need to grow a stash. We should just.
I cannot grow a stash. I look ridiculous. I've tried it. It looks horrible.
Watch, it ends up looking like Adolf Hitler's little.
Oh. It would. Hey. I got my own little thing. I don't know if you can see it. I got like a birthmark on my chin. Not to get all weird, but I got a little birthmark on my chin. It looks like the United States. It used to. Now it looks like kind of.
Yeah.
I got my own facial recognition.
Yeah. Like, I kind of have a cool thing. It's not a birthmark. It's kind of like the Indiana Jones cut, like underneath the lower lip. It's too bright to see. But yeah.
Dude, mine's obvious. See that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. it's not a cut heel cut, but it's just
It's a birthmark. Yeah, it's a red. It's like a port wine stain, whatever.
Yeah. I make fun of my father-in-law because he hurt his head and he's bald in that spot, so I call him Gorbachev because Gorbachev had that same, the stain. But it's not a stain; it's just a wound. But it's I don't know why I do it. I had a tendency for calling people names. It was not out of meanness, but just out of just try to elicit a laugh. But I guess it could be mean. I mean, I try not to. I don't know. It might be the same thing,
It is. It's a spectrum, dude, between like having fun and making fun of people in a fun, joking way, and then taking it too far. It's hard to know the difference sometimes.
I'm guilty of that. I should probably apologize. I don't know if I'll ever meet those people again. Like, it's not like I want to ever go to like a high school reunion or something like that, right? I feel like everyone that I want to keep in contact with, I do, and so why force it?
I'll go to my high school reunion for sure. I missed my 10th, but I only graduated with like 70 people in my whole entire class or whatever. So it was a small, one of those things. I grew up with everyone from first grade to graduating high school, and so like I know everybody, But
wow, 70, that's really out there.
Yeah, 70 people. Well, I graduated with actually a little less than 70, but yeah, I mean, it's all the same people, man. First grade, pretty much all the same people, first grade up. That's what happens. I don't know if I told you, I'm from Tahoe. I'm from Lake Tahoe, and in like California, Nevada, or whatever. I'm from Nevada, the Nevada side myself, but I'm from a place called Incline Village.
Okay,
to give you an idea.
Yeah, I think my graduating class. I don't know. For some reason, I keep wanting to think 300, but I think it's more like 500 or 600. It's just a lot of people.
Too much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
keep track of.
Yeah. But because I remember I had a friend who was from Spokane, and went, me and my friend drove to Spokane from like Federal Way, Seattle, to just kind of participate. And it was like a graduating class of like 70, and they had all these events, and it was like, man, it's just a small class. And since we're exposed to everything in the city, I was really good at swimming, sprinting, and basketball, and it was kind of. I don't know if I feel guilty or not at it, because he invited us, and so we're able to participate. But like, I was winning all the prizes for swimming and basketball and all this other stuff, and I just felt like, oh man. But that helped because it was kind of costly there when you're like a high school student driving like 5 hours each way, and food and gas and all that stuff. So it evened out.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for stopping by. It's 2 hours 10 minutes and almost 2 hours 10 minutes. And see everybody later. Thank you for stopping in. I'm gonna have to reread the chat later, and I'll see you around.
That was cool, man. There's a lot of comments and stuff. That was pretty engaging. Yeah, I'll try to keep stopping by, man. So it's good talking to you.
All right, thanks. See ya.